A quick overview of SmartPass and also a demonstration that shows you the staff side and the student side. So let's get into it. What is SmartPass? So SmartPass is a digital hall pass system that acts as a traditional paper hall pass system, but it provides other benefits such as timers on passes, emergency reporting, and more. It actually just really is an extra layer on top of what we already currently do. So it's really mimicking our current paper pass system, just in a digital form, and I'll get more into that in a few minutes. So we're using the system in the middle school to start, and we've put it on hold right now as we kind of communicate its rollout with the community. But we figured we wanted to do this in the middle school first before rolling it out to the high school, just because the middle school is a much more closed environment with no study halls and stuff like that. So it would be better to evaluate its effectiveness in the middle school before rolling it out to the high school. And just as some quick history, SmartPass was actually created about 3 years ago by a group of high school students. They were recent graduates and they wanted to better help teachers manage the hall pass system at their school. And currently it's used by over 200,000 students and staff across the world. So why did we choose SmartPass? Well, when we looked into our current paper pass system, we realized that we've been actually using that same pass system and actually the same passes since 1957. The reason why we also chose SmartPass was to increase the safety and the supervision of our students. We need to know exactly where the students are in the building during an emergency, and it also helps to limit vandalism and unsafe behavior in bathrooms. It helps decrease out of class time, and it's just a more efficient and more informative process for us. Because again, as I get into it, how it works and everything in just a few moments, it's really just in really what we do now, just in a digital form. So how does SmartPass work? So students or staff can create a digital hall pass. Either the students can start it or the staff. Every classroom, bathrooms, water fountain, and more, wherever a student can go to normally, have been added into the hall pass system, and I'll show you that once we do the demonstration. Just like a traditional paper pass system, students can be issued passes to those rooms or areas. Passing times for certain destinations have been predetermined by the school. So for example, water fountains have a 3-minute two-way destination time, because we feel that's appropriate right now. If we find that we need to increase that amount of time because students are tending to need a little bit more time at the water fountain, maybe 4 minutes, we can go back and always change that. Same thing with the bathroom. One-way passes have a 3-minute passing time, which mimics the passing time between classes, because we figured that would be an appropriate passing time. So for example, if a student needs to go to the media center, they have 3 minutes to get from where they currently are to the media center, using the SmartPass system. If students use more than their allotted pass time, the digital pass will start to count up, and the teacher will just know how long the student was out of the room for. And again, just like a traditional paper pass system, if the student is only 10 or 15 seconds over, the teacher will not question that. If they become 6 or 7 minutes over, and that's a continuous thing, then the teacher might pull the student aside and just have a quick conversation with them. Again, if they're going to the bathroom, there's going to be some understanding between that. But if we're finding they're going to the water fountain and they're coming back maybe 10 minutes later, and we see that as a consecutive issue, then we might pull them aside and have a quick conversation. So how does SmartPass compare to our current paper pass system? Currently, students sign out on a piece of paper on a sign-out sheet in their classroom. They put their name, their destination, the time in, and the time they return. Or the time out and the time they return. SmartPass actually works the same exact way, but it just keeps that pass record digital, which allows us to analyze the data in a lot quicker in the event of an emergency, a behavior incident, or vandalism. So right now, as the students write down their name, where they're going, and the times that they're in and out, this is exactly what SmartPass does. It doesn't actually track via GPS or anything like that, because that's against the law. So right now, SmartPass is really just keeping track of that data for us in the digital form, which would be no different than if we actually entered that data into a spreadsheet and analyzed it that way. Just because of the nature of the system, it's doing it a lot more efficiently for us. So right here I have a quick comparison, side by side, of SmartPass and our current pass system. So SmartPass and the paper pass system both have a time in and time out function. They both have the to and from destination. The paper pass system allows for a cross-reference of multiple sign-in and sign-out sheets, so it does take multiple time because if we needed to cross-reference different sign-out sheets or anything like that, it would take a little bit of time because we have to gather that information manually and look at it. Whereas SmartPass has immediate analysis of information because it's a computer, so it's not a computer, it's a computer application, so it's doing that for us immediately. Students also know how long they have been in and out immediately using SmartPass, whereas on a paper pass system, they might not see that just by looking at their time in and time out. Also, with SmartPass, we immediately know who is out of class during lockdowns, evacuations, and other emergencies. So, for example, if we have to have an evacuation drill due to whatever reason, a fire, for example, we know exactly where a student is headed. And that way, if we need to prioritize to get emergency personnel to that area, we know where they're headed. Again, we don't know where they are headed. We don't know where they are based on GPS, but we know which route they should be taking. And SmartPass also doesn't waste any paper just because it is all digital. So how does SmartPass help with safety? SmartPass allows us to access data that can be used for safety reasons. So for example, if an evacuation or lockdown of the school is needed, administration is able to instantly have a report of any active students outside of their classroom and where they are headed. This information can be sent to emergency responders in order to safely locate the students. So exactly what I just talked about before. And this also information is critical in emergency situations because we need to be able to access that data quickly in order to help our students and kind of get the situation under control. And obviously, as the last sentence says, in an emergency situation, every second counts. How does SmartPass help with curbing vandalism? So SmartPass works to curb vandalism because the time limits on passes help ensure that the students are aware of how long they are out of the classroom for and that they return in their allotted time. So because of the time, the actual digital pass counting up, if they run out of time, it actually helps them realize that, oh, maybe I was out of class for maybe the 3 minutes I went to go to the water fountain, but I was also out of time for another 3 minutes. So maybe I need to work on that, or maybe I need to find a quicker route to that water fountain, or whatever that may be. So it helps curb vandalism just because students are more aware of how long they've actually been out of the classroom for. Whereas with the traditional pass system, they might not be as immediately aware because it is not as immediate, doesn't show them. So does SmartPass use GPS to monitor student location? So as I mentioned before, it absolutely does not use GPS to monitor student location. For example, even in the middle school, students aren't allowed to have their cell phones out during the school day, and they don't actually need to take their Chromebooks with them to the bathroom or to the water fountain. So there's no way for us to actually track them if the system even had it, which it doesn't. There's no GPS monitoring. So SmartPass only keeps track of which destinations in the school students need to go to and keeps track of how long they're out of this classroom for. So a student or staff member creates the pass. Once the student returns, either the student or the staff member can stop that pass. No tracking information is ever collected because we do not use any devices that would collect location data. The destinations and times gathered are currently collected in a paper sign-out sheet in each room. So again, we're doing it the same way we do now, just in a digital form. It allows just for that quicker analysis of data if we ever needed it. So how does SmartPass handle student data? Can they sell the data that they collect? Absolutely not. So I'll get into this right now as well. The state of Connecticut actually passed Public Act 16-189 in 2016, and it actually went into effect in 2018, and that prohibits student data to be sold among other safeguards of student data. So for example, if there is a data breach on that server, they have to notify us within 48 hours of their data breach, of them finding out about their data breach. So just in Connecticut in general, whenever student data is collected, we need to have a data privacy addendum in place between the district and the contractor that we're using before we can even upload any information such as a student name, email address, any of that. So any program, any application we're using, whether that's Google or PowerSchool, we always have a privacy addendum in place with that contractor before we even enter a name into that program. And we've worked really hard over the past 6 years to ensure that our programs have all the data privacy addendums in place. We make sure that they're updated and that they're public on our data privacy website so that anybody can see them, and I've linked them at the bottom there. And when we pick an application to use in school, data privacy is always the first kind of idea that we're thinking about. Will they meet Connecticut Public Act 16-189? Do they comply with FERPA? So this is stuff that we actually reach out to the contractor or the company about first before we even consider the rest of the application. So for example, with SmartPass, we wanted to look into a digital hall pass system. So before we even went about even doing a demo of it or any of that, we reached out to SmartPass and said, we're interested. Would you actually even sign our data privacy addendum? And if they said no, then that conversation would end right there. So with that being said, let's do a quick demonstration of SmartPass. So right now, I have the administrator side of SmartPass open, and I'll show you the teacher side in a second. So we used this a few weeks ago just to do a one-day demo, and then we obviously put that on hold for now. So there's currently no active hall passes in the school. Today there have been no passes issued, so you can see that right here. And all this information updates in real time. So as a pass would be entered, this number would go up, and this would also go up. If a student is found wandering the hall, for example, maybe they're going to the bathroom, but then they're found on the other side of the school, maybe a hall monitor caught them, they can report the student here, and that report would go to administration. We also can see the average pass time. So right now, just between all the passes that were issued on that one day, we've also issued a few demo passes as well, just to kind of learn the system. The average pass time so far has been 5.2 minutes. And then we can also see the most frequent destinations in the school. So these are the most frequent destinations, and those will all update as well in real time as passes are being issued. On the hall monitor view right here, you can see that there's currently no active passes, but the hall monitor view allows staff to see any current active passes that are in the building right now. Some of these I can't show just because of student data privacy. So for example, Explore I can't show because it might show student accounts, and same things with the accounts button down here. But over in the room section, you can see all the rooms that we have issued. So we have the main office. We have all the bathrooms located here on this end, so you can see all the bathrooms that we have entered. You can see all the water fountains here as well. Every water fountain in the school is here, so these are rooms that students can pick. We have the guidance office, nurse, the library, and then as you can see here, we have each team, and within each team, you have the lockers plus each teacher that is in each team. So we have that for each: the gold team, the red team, the green team, the purple team, and the Inquiry Academy. And under Unified Arts, we also have each teacher who teaches in Unified Arts, plus ISS, the cafeteria, and the team room. And again, we can add rooms if needed. So for example, if there's another room that we wanted to add, we can always add more rooms. Again, I can't show you school accounts because it has all the student accounts in there. And then under my school, it just has some stuff like our chat and support calls and things like that. So what I'm going to show you now is just the teacher side, and what's that going to look like if I was going to issue our demo student a pass. So I'm going to go to the teacher view. And when the teacher sees something, and actually this is going to be very similar to what the student sees, you'll see there's 3 tabs at the top. There's a home, a hall monitor, and then my room. And again, you can search for all the students here, but again, I can't search for them because it'll bring up our student accounts. And I can create a pass now or in the future. So if I want to create a pass now, for example, I can create a new pass. So I'm going to type in our demo student, who's rami.ram, and I'm going to select them. And now you're going to see at the top here, it's going to see from where. So I can choose my rooms, and since I'm teach in the music suite, I have the chorus room favorited, and I also have the keyboard room favorited. So these are my favorite rooms just because I teach in them. Every teacher can favorite a room, so most teachers have favorited the rooms that they teach in. These are also in case I happen to be in a different room for whatever reason. I can also issue a pass from any of the rooms that are currently added to SmartPass. So I'm just going to click the chorus room, and now I get to choose where the student's going to be going. So maybe they asked to go to the water fountain, and we're going to send them to the blue team water fountain, which is near the chorus room. So I'm going to do that, and then the student, I could choose how much time the student needs. So for example, I give them 3 minutes, but if I feel that it's close and they only need 2 minutes, I'm going to do that. Most teachers will give the full 3 minutes, and then the student can always get back and cancel it. And then when the student creates the pass, they can also choose, which I'll show you in a little bit, how much time they actually need. Right, so you can see this is a round trip pass, so they're going to go to the blue team water fountain. They're going to get 3 minutes to go there and get back. And then this is the student name, and that's where I'm going to send their pass to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send that, and you can see that the active passes starts to, that pass is active and it starts to count down. If I go to the hall monitor tab, you'll also see that that's the active pass in the district right now, or in the school right now. So that's the blue team water fountain. This is Ramy, and they're going to there. Now, if I quickly go back over to the administrator view, you'll currently see that there's one active pass being issued. Okay, and they're still not being reported. We haven't reported anything like that, but you can see that that updates in real time. Now, if I go back to the teacher view, you can see that that pass is active. Now, I have my student view actually open too. So I actually have the student logged in to my other browser, and you'll see that this is the student view. So on their computer, if they were logged in on their Chromebook, for example, they would see this active pass. You can see that they have gotten one pass this week, which is also one pass this month, but we haven't issued any passes today. So this will be the one that will kind of go into their data. So they can see how many passes they're actually using. Not that they have a limited number of passes, but they can just kind of, as a visual for them. Right now this pass is active on their screen, but I can make it smaller, and you can see that it has all their other passes. So we've issued just some sample ones for the student just to kind of show what that looks like. Now when they're done, say they get back from the water fountain already, they're coming back to the chorus room, the student can end that pass, and that pass goes into their expired ones. So this is what the student view looks like. It's very simple. It has all their expired passes over here. They can create a pass for now or for the future, and any requests they have, so any future ones would go into here. So I'm going to have the student pretend like they're going to create a pass. So right now they favorited the gold team bathroom and the gold team water fountain. So I'm going to pretend like they're going to go to the gold team water fountain. Oops, sorry, this is their from where. So I favorited the gold. I don't know why I favorited the gold team bathroom and water fountain, but that's what I have under there right now. So I'm just actually going to change this to chorus room. So chorus room, and they're going to go from where or to where. I'm going to have them go to the water fountain again. So just to show you what this looks like on the student side. And you can see that the student can choose how much time they need. So maybe they only need 2 minutes, so they can choose that. And then I'm going to start the pass. And you can see that again, it looks just like it did on their view before. Just right now, it's kind of showing up as they created the pass. And then if I go back to the teacher view, now you'll notice that the teacher didn't create the pass, so there's nothing here. But under the hall monitor section, the teacher can see that that is a currently active pass. And again, if I went to the administrator view, you would see that active pass as well. So if I'm the hall monitor, or just because I can see my student out right now, if I actually click on that, you can see that it has their pass and everything. And if I click up here, I can either, if I find the student wandering, I can report the student, and that would go to administration as a report, or I can end the pass. And if I click this back arrow right here, you'll see that the pass was created by the student today at 5:04 p.m. because that's what time it is right now. And the pass has 1 minute and 6 seconds left, and that's the time again that it was created. They're going from the chorus room to the blue team water fountain. And again, this is the student. So if I'm the teacher, I can go and end this right now, or again, the student can end it when they get back to the classroom. And that is ended, so that would be the end of that. I can also see from my room all the current active passes from my room. So as a teacher, if I clicked on this, this would have all the passes today from the chorus room. So if I had other students in here, they would be here as well. And I can also filter from other days as well. I also have the keyboard room because I teach in multiple rooms. So if the teacher only has one room, they would only see their one right now. And that is pretty much a quick overview of SmartPass. We're going to go back to the presentation right now. So as you can see, it's very simplistic. It's really just exactly what we're doing now, just in a little digital form. It keeps track of that data a lot quicker for us. So as the passes are created, they go into kind of like a little database, and that allows us just to analyze it quicker. It'd be no different if we took the current sign in and sign out sheet and just entered those into a spreadsheet. It's kind of what SmartPass is doing on their end. It's just kind of done in a kind of a better user interface, and it's a lot quicker because as we've talked about before, we've tried to enter the data before, and it just is very cumbersome, time consuming, and not really realistic. So SmartPass kind of just takes that and kind of makes it a lot easier. So that was our quick demonstration of SmartPass. If you ever have any questions regarding the actual pass system and the implementation of it, you can email any administrator. And if you ever have technical difficulties with SmartPass or anything account wise, you can always email the information technology department at helpdesk@ramschools.org. And one thing that I did forget to mention is that for accounts, they are synced over from our Google directory. So they're basically just synced over from our Google account. So it's really the student's Google account. So the only thing that is ever synced to SmartPass is the student name, the student email, and their picture that comes from PowerSchool. There's no other information such as age or any of that gets sent over to SmartPass. Just their first and last name, their email address, which comes from Google, and their image, which comes from PowerSchool. So when it syncs over nightly. So if we ever change anything on the Google side, that would sync over to SmartPass at midnight on the next day. So when students, for example, right now, if it ends up being used in the middle school, as students graduate from 8th grade, if we don't end up using it in the high school, once they leave 8th grade and their Google accounts transition from the middle school organizational unit to the high school organizational unit, automatically their SmartPass accounts would be destroyed, because it would sync over and it would realize that they're not in that unit anymore and erase them completely. If we did move them over to the high school, then they would sync into a high school SmartPass account, and they'd be destroyed upon graduation once their accounts move out of the high school organizational unit into the alumni organizational unit. So once that happens, their accounts would be destroyed. So they're only with SmartPass until they either promote from 8th grade to 9th grade, or again, if we end up using in the high school as well, once they graduate from high school. After that, their SmartPass accounts are completely destroyed as well. And one thing that I also forgot to mention with data privacy is in our data privacy addendum, it also states that SmartPass does not own any of the data. The school district owns all that data, and SmartPass is not allowed to sell that data. They are not allowed to do anything with that data, share it outside of their servers. So that's all located in the data privacy addendum. So again, if you have any questions regarding the actual implementation of SmartPass, you can email administration. And if you have any technical difficulties with SmartPass, you can always email the technology department. So I hope you found this video useful, and hope to see